Most important thing in business is honesty, integrity, hard work. You need somebody?
When I need proof, I pray that I find the truth. Feel like it's pulling my tooth, and what's done in the dark slowly letting me loose. My love right by my side, she know I ain't got no proof. Picture me, tossing in my sleep. I'm fighting demons alone, she hugging me, screaming we. Picture somebody bringing life to your life. Got the plug, told Virgil, right wife for my wife. Nigga, easy.
How can legacy evolve? And you want to start off there? How
No,
can legacy
because
evolve?
I don't know how. I'd rather hear y'all and then piggyback off y'all.
You want to hear mine? Because I don't know neither.
You can start us off because I'll piggy that specifically. I'll piggyback off.
I wrote that down. I said,
because throughout this whole joint, I feel like I don't want to say lost. Well, I guess I could say lost, but I don't want to say lost in a bad way. I want to say lost and not caring. I'm lost in this because first of all, you never stop evolving, you never stop learning. Right. So until I get to that point, you know what I mean? And I hate that I don't have it set in stone. STY is about to be 14 next month, but
I wouldn't even view it that way, and here's why. And this. That's
what I'm saying. It don't have to be lost as in negativity, but
this can be your legacy evolving, right? And people who listen to the pod heard the story several times. I don't care. They're gonna hear it again. The day of my wedding was the day that you went to arbitration and found that you no longer was about to have a job for something, right? From that moment, you have evolved into a completely different person. And then you got into another level, and then you evolved again to another person. Whether it be going backwards or forwards, you were still evolving into a whole nother person until you are the man that's here today. And that's just me talking to you, man to man, friend to friend, brother to brother, right?
So, can that be like not the reverse of legacy? Could that still be deemed a legacy? Like your downfall and your way up? Because it don't always. So basically, I'm saying, do it have to be of?
Legacy doesn't always have to be good.
It doesn't have to always be linear.
But it's also reflective.
Yeah,
you're looking back on it. I mean, we're having conversations around it. If we controlled our legacy, I guess, like what would we want it to be? But you don't know what it is until you look back on it.
Right?
Are you saying we're asking if it has to be linear?
Does it have to be a success story?
Not necessarily. I don't even think it has to be linear either.
Exactly, it doesn't.
Okay.
I don't think it has to be one street going forward. No, shit happens.
Right.
One day you're gonna go left road. One day you're gonna go right. One day you're gonna do a 360. You just as long as you get to the fucking
which is why I said good or bad.
And to that point,
so
people I'm sorry.
Is it a legacy if you don't get to the end goal? Is it still a legacy if you're on that road?
But the legacy is reflective. It's at the end, and it's somebody else's perception of it. You can look back on it and say, I assume this is my legacy, but it won't matter if you're the only person talking about it. And so when you get to the end of your life and somebody says, Ant's legacy will be X, that's somebody else talking about you. You could want it to be whatever you want it to be. You can think of, some of the richest people in the world have a legacy on us as a society, and their children hate them. Like
that's why I don't want no. I don't want no legacy.
Well, but you don't control that. Is the point? We don't control how we're viewed by other people. We can only influence the way we communicate with people and how we treat people, and hope that we've left them better than we found them. Right?
Get off X.
So
if I didn't have kids, I probably would want one. But the fact that I have kids and I view it like that, that's why I don't want one.
But again, we don't define like you. Yeah. You can't worry about what it's going to be. You just got to live. You got to take care of them. You got to look out for your kids. You got to raise them with principle. You have to raise them with character. And that, in and of itself, the legacy isn't something we define. It's inherent in how we live. And
so
how we treat
you say
people.
something that not necessarily trigger, because again, it's not a trigger. It's a trigger of thought. Is there a legacy if no one remembers you? Like if you
care, Should you care?
I mean, you probably
you gone, so you don't even.
That's what I'm saying.
Exactly.
That's what I'm saying.
But like if you we say legacy is what people bestow upon you, right? Or what people thought of you, or whatever the case may be. But if you was like such a fuck the person in the world, and
My
like,
dad.
But then you probably have a warped perception of that legacy because you're not willing to accept your own flaws. So
He's not.
So your lack of accountability will tell you that you're leaving a good legacy because of your your narcissism. You know what I'm saying? Like you're not self-aware enough to say I've been wrong. I've done people wrong. Mm-hmm. So you probably think that you aren't responsible for having done people wrong.
Mm-hmm. And to answer your question, Ant, right? You said, can you have a legacy? What was it? Can you have a bad legacy or a legacy of being a bad person? Something along those lines?
No, can your legacy... So, real quick, the reason why I said I don't want a legacy, right? And what did you say after that, D? After I said I don't want
that you don't control it.
You don't control it, right? So it was basically... It was basically like when me and you was having that name argument.
It wasn't, for me, it wasn't an argument, but
it got to an argument because that's when I was saying in the production meeting how
He still let this go.
no, I mean it's good for the
know,
go.
definitely
But I was basically saying Steph was saying how you should want to do such and such, like if you're an entertainer or in Dame's situation, he should want to leave Portland so he can create a legacy and win and do this, that, and the third. And I was like, how do you know that's what he deemed his legacy to be? Like, he probably don't want that. Like, his legacy, like, in my eyes, my legacy if I wanted a legacy, I don't care if it's the way my success is. I care about my legacy being how my kids treat everybody else. How
Based off of what you instilled in them.
right, instilled in them. That's what I look at it as.
Mm-hmm.
So with Dame is like he tried his hardest. He wanted to. He seen Tim Duncan did it. He seen Kobe do it.
He also saw there was better plays around than what he had.
Well, for sure, but
I mean, like, as far as him,
the duration of his career, won a championship.
No, I get it.
Yeah, but like,
you got to be accepted to the pieces. Them people also. Well, I don't think Kobe did, but for Tim Duncan to be who he was, if you look back over Tim's like salary caps, he was never the highest paid like power forward. And he was always the best power forward for the last 15 out of the 20.
I mean, but
years he played.
As far as Dame go, like that's just how the
Dame Dollar.
So I don't mean to cut you off.
That's his rap.
But
name,
here's the thing, right?
Some truth to it.
After we had that debate, I thought about it because again, we're adults. We should be able to think about what people say. You know,
I hate you.
His legacy could indeed be that I want to have generational wealth. That can be his legacy.
And his legacy could also be loyalty.
Okay, he don't control what the NBA say. Hey, this is how much you get for a supermax. He don't control that.
No, he doesn't. But
he know he can
not
get it.
directly. But
yeah, but it's like from
for
that he can say, you know what? I want my legacy to be to provide for my family for generations on in. That could
right.
be.
And then the rest of us are talking
right.
about his athletic legacy.
All right, so look, when has he ever said that?
He doesn't. It's not even. But again, so if we're going based off of legacy.
But that's why I'm saying you can't go off that because he didn't do what T-Mac said. He didn't do what Melo said.
So
right?
Go back to the beginning.
Hold on. Melo said I can't turn down his money. T-Mac said I can't turn down his money. Dame never said I can't turn down his money. You never heard him verbally say that. So you don't know. But you can't sit up here and say his legacy may be that. You can say that, but he didn't show that.
He did show it because he didn't turn it down.
Listen, no one's saying necessarily that's what he's saying.
Came out and openly said, "I can't turn down this money." Your actions prove that you can't, whether you can or won't. His actions prove that. Like prime example, you got. I'm gonna take James Harden for an example.
I want to get on the money aspect. I want to get on the aspect of what he. Okay, you saying he didn't show that by taking the money. He didn't turn down the money, but he also never left. He also still played hard. He didn't say because I'm shooting these half court 3-pointers, this is why I'm getting this money. The nigga was shooting like that because he wanted to win. He didn't have nobody else on the team to do that shit.
I mean, shooting half court shots is always stupid to me. I don't care who.
Okay, but he.
Oh, I mean, I think the point is his legacy. His legacy when we look back on Dame's career will be that he wanted to win, and he wanted to win in one place.
It's not because he wanted to make money. That's not.
No, that was inherent. He was gonna make the money anyway because
that's what I'm saying.
But it's not. I mean, and so the generational wealth piece, like taking care of his family, was taking care of it long before he signed his last contract.
Correct. But what I'm saying is that could have been. I'm not saying it is. That could have been his mindset. Like my legacy. Going
secure
into
as
it
much
could,
money as I can. From
yeah,
that.
exactly.
Yeah.
That could have been it. No one's saying he said it.
But then it also goes back to the comment.
So.
It also
I'm not
goes
saying
back.
he did. I'm saying no one knows his mindset but him, right?
And also,
that could happen. You have to.
But Dame
think
is
about
not the nigga who did like Dame would have said that, just like Melo said it, just like other people said it. Dame, all he ever talked about was winning and winning here, and his belief. What he wanted to do here, what he yearned to do here. That's what I'm talking about. Like, why even go that route?
Because
if that's what he's talking about. Like that be the problem too. Like if he's stating what his goal is and what his passion is, why can't we run with that? Why, for the sake of argument, we gotta go to create something else and do that? But let's focus on what he verbally said.
But it's not necessarily.
And this is why the argument started, because
it's
he
not
was
necessarily
saying,
creating anything. What we're saying is there's a possibility. No one's saying that just because he's not outright saying this. Like you gotta think.
All right, we can do that then.
You have to think of every single possibility outcome, even if it's not true or not.
We can do that.
You have to say
we can do that.
Maybe this is his process. That's what I'm saying.
This is so far down a Dame digression, but
that's all.
That's why I said I wanted to keep it right there. I didn't want to even talk about the money. When you bring up the money, it stems into a bigger conversation.
But I think his focus is on winning, and he wanted to win in Portland. But
that's what I wanted to keep it.
But he wants to win, and so if he wants to go somewhere else now because he wants to win. I don't think he's saying when you look back on my career, I want you to say that I was one of the best and I won one. I think he just wants to experience winning. I don't get the sense that he's worried about public appeal or public perception of that.
That's all I'm saying. But when you start bringing money into it and the possibility of money or anything else, any other thought or what you have to think, or that's when the conversation get broadened away from the original topic. But cool,
so,
we could do. You can do that.
I just want y'all to think back on what was said in the beginning, how you can't. Your legacy not up to you,
right?
So you view one view. I mean, you got your view. He got his view. That's the part of what the legacy is. Nobody's gonna say the legacy was the same.
Talking about it. We're talking about someone else's legacy, not him talking about his own. To the question of whether your legacy can evolve, I think we could look at another couple of athletes, and I mean, I think Kobe's the perfect example. Mm-hmm. Kobe with the mini fro at number 8 was off to a great start in his career. I think he won at least one championship before he was accused of sexual assault in Colorado.
I think they might have won more than one. Mm-hmm. I could be wrong.
I don't remember the timelines, but yeah, I'm pretty sure they did.
Yeah.
They might have won 3 by that point.
Because I think they won 3 straight. So yeah, it was definitely
and that was early 2000s, and that came like 04 or so. But by the time he finished the last 12 years of his career, that wasn't necessarily an afterthought, but it certainly wasn't the thing you worried about, or it wasn't the first thing that came to mind. Those of us who grew up watching Kobe, because we were 8, 10 years old or whatever when he got drafted, we watched that entire progression. Mm-hmm. But it had pretty much been written out of his story by the time he retired. Mm-hmm. And so when you think about the evolution of a legacy, you can have the complications in it. Ray Lewis was, the reference at the top of the pod. Like you can have complications in a legacy, and you can't necessarily get away from the negative. You can't ignore it. I think anybody who looks at Kobe to dismiss that time is unfair.
So now I have a question for the table, because you said something that's actually it's pretty valid. When you hear about Kobe's legacy, and I'm not even going to take into the fact that he's no longer here, because I don't think that played a factor in it. Mm-hmm. Not many people bring up that whole situation.
Right.
But with Ray Lewis, the situation comes up. So why is it that one, you just ignore it, and the other one, you don't? Is it because of quote unquote more success sports wise? Because not many people bring up the Kobe case.
No, well, I think we should be fair. We are in Philadelphia, and so I think there's an element of that. You know what I'm saying? Like there's a protecting home element to that.
You think so?
I think so. They did a great job of the PR campaign after the settlement, and kind of revamping. He changed his number, cut his hair, and then it became strictly about
bigger, right?
Yeah. I mean, he took care of house after that. Traded
Lamborghini.
I mean,
No, I'm sorry. He converted the Lamborghini to an automatic instead of a stick shift. He ain't got her a bigger ring.
and he could do that. But,
Definitely could do that.
Yes, but like there was an entire reinvention.
Baby, I was wrong.
There was an entire. Yeah, look, I mean, everybody apologizes how they apologize, but there was an entire reinvention, and by the time social media had come along, I mean, back around this time, Facebook was just starting off.
Yeah.
There really wasn't much, you know.
And what's crazy is to piggyback off of that. That's when the Mamba mentality was born.
That's what I'm saying.
That's
Like
what
there was an
it came
entire
out.
reinvention
Yeah.
there, and it became focused on his determination and his skill as an athlete and his productivity.
Ain't no goddamn baby in here.
Sure.
That did sound like right here.
Go
ahead and check that ring camera real quick. Okay, there was people with it.
That baby's life. But I think to the context of or the question of can a legacy evolve? I mean, I think that's an example of
definitely,
an evolution of a legacy where I always I think of a person like you mentioned, speaking about him since he's passed. And, I'll refer to my dad again. Like, he always had this idea, this approach where he's like, dead doesn't make you better, it makes you dead. So, like, I don't think somebody passing relieves or, like, bars the conversations around the negatives of somebody's life. Mm-hmm. But, like, I also think it's something that we can acknowledge. And obviously, it didn't end in criminal charges. It was a private settlement, a civil settlement. And that was that. What it amounted to when it was all said and done was that he had made mistakes in his personal life. But, like...
I probably would have took a settlement, too, if I'd known that you just brought your wife this new ring and you converted a stick shift to automatic.
He was one of the most famous... He did that after all this.
I know, but it was a part of it, though. Like, it was after...
That was the at home, we gonna stay together settlement.
Exactly.
That was not part of the legal settlement.
No, I know that. I'm just saying,
but I'm saying all that came after as, like, making amends at home. But... he was at that point he was nearly the face of basketball. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like he was one of the most recognizable athletes in the world. And so that, that was a potential really, really big fall from grace. And he managed to navigate it without criminal consequences and ultimately had a private settlement, a civil settlement, and then moved on through his prime. Like that was before he really hit his prime.
Yeah.
And then he moved on through the rest of his career, and he goes down as one of the greatest players of all time. And then with the latter half of that, you also got to see his personality come through in whatever form it came through. By the time he died, he was widely regarded. You know what I mean? If you were from here, one of the last things that he saw before he died was the Eagles win the Super Bowl. And so, like, people got to connect with him then as an Eagles fan. Mm-hmm. So, like, you know what I'm saying? There were all these other things that bring a human element to this person that had been on this pedestal long before then when they had gotten into trouble. And so I think the idea of can a legacy evolve? Yeah, it can. Ray Lewis, I still kind of think he might have had something to do with some of them. I think there might have been some validity to those charges, but that's that. But, he also had a personality, and I think we touched on this earlier. He also had like a personality where you're like,
he did it.
I mean, like you're like it would make sense. It would follow that this dude who's one of the best middle linebackers of all time, kind of literally plays the crazy card on the field, that he might have killed somebody. That all lines up where the public perception of a Kobe Bryant or someone else who's going through these other trials ultimately ran counter to what they were accused of.
I would say Brian. And we're actually watching it, like from when he first came in the league to excelling and making his finals run. As much as people hate Brian and all that shit, yeah, he got swept when he played Spurs, right? In the finals.
Yeah, when he was the young Brian, 2000.
Yeah, so all the accolades that he had with that, leading up to that, then going to Miami, evolving again, learning how to win, winning, coming back to Cleveland, bringing that mentality to Cleveland, winning the chip. Then 9 straight finals as well, 9 straight finals appearances. And
not even like that. When he left Cleveland again to go to LA, he won the first year in LA.
That
was the second year.
No, I'm sorry.
Second year, and then throughout that whole process was he again going back to how I feel about being solid and being thorough and being that type of man that you are with his family, with his kids, never been in no scandals and none of that shit. Right. Having Savannah being like she's and we got that topic. What's the damn topic?
pretty much about staying with the same. I don't remember.
No, damn, what's the topic?
You don't know.
Your significant other being a reflection of you. That's that, and then the way he had his homies, how he brought them up, and they are excelling in everything. Then the next, after he retired, he would have the whole media company. I think he will be running that shit now. He doing everything he doing now with the movies and the shows. So that's what really stuck with me. Like, it's not even the game of basketball. It's the outside. That's what struck me. But that's to me, and the fact that we're watching it, and the fact that T.Y. can watch it. Like, I hope Harold would have somebody that he can physically watch like we did with Brian do that. But T.Y. can watch Brian do that. You know what I'm saying? So I like that about Brian as far as the evolution of a legacy within that aspect.
So I guess evolution of legacy, or how can you evolve your legacy? I'm assuming it goes by growth, learning from mistakes, persevering, pushing.
Simply put, keep going. That's it. It's keep going. And Steph, you made a point earlier, like, your experience is not linear. And so we have a habit of thinking that we should only go like this, you know? But, like, life is a series of peaks and valleys. And you got to ride the highs to sustain the lows, you know? And then over time, when you look back on it, you can put things into context. But this idea that, like, everything is going to go up from here, like, you can't drop off or have a moment where you fall off for a minute or fall back and you have to get back together, that's life. And I think to present the idea that you can't do that is not fair, and it's not true, and it can be deflating to people.
And I think it's one of those things where
it was for me, because I'd never seen nobody fall as hard as I fucking fell. So when I did fall like that, I didn't know what the fuck to do. You have this situation when T.Y. when T.Y. seen me in the room, that wasn't a scratch on my knee.
No, that was not. That was about to be a scratch away from life.
Yeah,
right.
So
I remember that.
Yeah, I mean, so it was like I never in life seen nobody fall like that. So what the fuck do I even have to see or look at to say, Anthony, you could get up out of this shit?
And
so
that's why we have
question
therapy. But
so now looking back, right?
I ain't believe in therapy at that. I ain't believe in shit at that time.
I believe in, bro. Nope.
I do now.
Yes,
at that time, I ain't.
My wife is a therapist. We each see a therapist regularly.
So
I don't play about it. That's how I stay. That's how I can stay level.
Otherwise, looking back now, right, and seeing where you was as opposed to where you are, do you think it was worth it? Go through.
I didn't think he was going to ask that. Thought you was going to say, do that change your perception on legacy?
Nope.
But
I want to know if you thought it was worth it.
Absolutely, 1000%, it was worth it. Do I? Now that we're talking about legacy, I would love that all of that is a part of our legacy.
It is, because
it's something that somebody can see getting out of it,
but
as opposed to me not having the wherewithal of anybody succeeding or getting out of that. Like I didn't know what strength was until that.
So, and some of you guys, may disagree. Some of the viewers may disagree too, or listeners, and listeners. I think us podding weekly, it's a part of a legacy. And no, we're not doing it for legacy purposes, right? But we live in an era now where you can find this stuff on YouTube. So let's just say something happens to you and Hero never knew nothing about this. He can find out that my dad was a podcaster and my dad said some stuff on his pod. So if he never hears your voice again, he can literally go on YouTube and type in podcast or put it on any platform that we use and can literally hear your voice.
You hear the way you think.
I ain't think about that. Thank you. Hey man, thank all y'all. I love y'all, man.
No, it's a love letter. Like, it's not. It's a love letter, and it's a voyage into your thoughts, minds, and your emotions.
Like I remember when my cousin
3
Jamal
seasons
died.
of that.
When my cousin Jamal died, right? His son had a video. He kept playing the video over and over and over again. And they was like, we tired of hearing the video. And I'm like, y'all can't tell him that. Like, he's never going to hear his dad's voice again. There's nothing else with his dad's voice on it. This is all he has with this phone with his dad's voice on it. And it's like, he was like in a tub and his dad was like washing him up. And I don't even know why they was recording it, but that's all he had. I guarantee he don't have it right now. So he will never hear his dad's voice ever again. Ever.
Somebody, what happened to it?
Bro, he's 17 now. He was 2 when it happened. He lost his dad at 2. Nobody knows about
the
it.
phone, yeah.
The phone, even if you got the phone, I don't mean that bitch working. It was a flip phone.
And and that's kind of the last point that we had to cover today. Almost leads into that.
I do that often.
No, I think it's cool. I'm with it because I think it's a great segue to this point if we're ready to move to it.
Oh no, we were definitely there.
All right, and so I think we're talking about legacies and how we perceive them, but I think there's a tangible part of that we should also talk about, which is legacy and estate planning, which we have businesses, we have careers, we have spouses, we have children. If you want to think about what your legacy is in a tangible sense, it's what do you leave them, and it could be in terms of assets, memories, character. But assets and estate planning is a key part.
Remember when we first said what is legacy?
Yeah.
That was my only thought of legacy until we had this conversation. Exactly what you just said.
I gotta change all my paperwork now. I have to change all of my paperwork because literally it's Tashira, her little brothers.
It's part of the game.
So
I'm not mad.
I think I heard this earlier, but so you have one on the way?
Yes.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
One. By law, your kid would play into it anyway.
I'm still changing.
But change it. Clean it up.
I don't trust them. So bad with me. I don't know what's going to happen.
Clean it up. But by law, your kid would have, unless you explicitly wrote them out, they would be accounted for.
Even if, and this might sound crazy, and I think it's like, I don't rock with my dad, but I still got insurance on him. And when I tell you when we like that last fallout,
decent business decision. But go on.
Exactly. So I'm funny with you. When we had the last fallout, I called my cousin. I said, "Cancel the fucking insurance. Fuck him. I ain't paying for shit." Like I was going in. He was like, "Well, because I kind of understand where you're coming from." He's like, "But can you wait like maybe 2 years? You can get something off of it. You get something, I get something. We good." And I was like,
"You got a point."
No, I mean, so I thought about it like, damn. Every time I look at my account, that bitch come up. Okay, motherfucker. Like,
because from a business sense, you're the beneficiary.
Yeah, business sense. Yes.
Yeah. But no, I think as
you say you didn't bury him, you could just cremate him. I said that's too much of my money.
Ain't cremate like
that conversation later. but yes, fair point. I think as a community, we don't have these conversations, honestly. And we don't estate plan. I did estate planning for several years before I took my current role, and I don't do it anymore. But writing our wills, making plans to account for our families, is in some cases like financial security. When you think about basic needs, financial security is one of the greatest legacies you can leave. And
because I'm tired of fish fries.
Huh?
I'm tired of supporting fish fries.
No, we're going to have one, big fella. Ain't nobody dying, but we're going to have one.
Supporting the fish fries
for the funeral expenses. Like,
yes.
I don't. And I may be wrong for this, but like, I don't.
You don't? You're not tired of it?
No, I don't support them.
Oh, shit.
No, like, look.
You don't support them for that reason, is what you mean?
Because, like, let's be, if you taking care of everything in your waking life and you got fresh clothes, you got a nice car, you got all this other stuff, and you aren't taking care of yourself and your children, why is it my job to? Honestly, and it's not that I haven't helped here or there with something, but it's not much, and it's not often. Like, if you aren't taking care of these things, if you aren't planning for this in a way that you're going to leave your children with something that matters, aside from a perception that their only value is in the cost of their clothes, or whether they have every new game console, or like that they only have these tangible things, why is it my job to then pay to bury you?
Shout out to my mom and my pop, because they both got life insurance policies that set apart from each other. Like, both of them is a part of their policy is that something pays their house off.
Right.
But everything else, it's not even everything else. This pay for the house and this is for y'all, as opposed to this is y'all and y'all have to pay the house off with this and then bust it down.
Right.
So like, when I heard about that, I was like, oh yeah. First of all, I want to boost my shit up to like $750 That's what I want to do because I don't think I can afford $1 million right now.
but just having something. I mean, so many people die with nothing, and then they are having a fish fry. Or they're calling around their cousins and aunts and uncles, and it's the ones who happen to have a couple of dollars get hit up the most. My parents have. I've watched my parents pay for more than they probably should, but like they go to work and they don't spend on dumb stuff. And they've done this my whole life. But they're also the caretakers, so they end up footing the bill for a lot of stuff. Yeah. And that's not me, it's not my brother. And we are not, I don't think we're well regarded because of it. But like, it's not my responsibility. I have my own children to account for. I have my own funeral to pay for ahead of time. Yeah. Which is very simple to that point because I'm not going to get gamed by the funeral industry. But like, I think we get life insurance. If you have assets, you have a house, you have a retirement account, like, plan for those things. If you do those things ahead of time and have those conversations with the people who are going to benefit from it, it actually makes grief a little bit easier.
Yeah, get life insurance, man. Listen, get 2 policies if you can.
Yeah, real shit. We do gotta get a policy on Hero and TY.
It's also kind of crazy that we are. I'm not gonna say that we're having this conversation because like we had it down there, and I don't even remember when we first put it down there. I said I have nothing to talk about because don't have nobody to like carry my legacy out. And then as we were sitting there, I don't think you knew yet. No, I'm not sure if you knew yet. But when we were sitting there and we potted, my mindset kind of changed a little bit because I'm like, damn, it's a fucking baby on the way. The mindset alone makes you want to do better.
Conversation you talking
about the legacy. No, when we was like putting this together, putting the actual episode together. Mindset I just feel like, and no, you cannot. I don't think you can control your legacy, but you can't control it because you know what life is going to throw at you. So that's why when you made the comment about instilling good principles in TY and in Hero, it was like it's kind of dope.
That's it. You can't control what happens, but you can control how you respond to it
as much as you want to,
and that's what you model to your children.
Right? If you're prepared for that.
In the context of grief, but just generally, I mean, you might lose a job, you get in a car accident, you have something happen, you can't control what happens, but you can control how you respond.
Right. Like if you instill joy and happiness and patience
and optimism
and all that type stuff, like when that stuff happened,
fucking patience, I don't do that.
I mean that's part of it.
I'm trying.
But
that could be a pivotal part of that because like you can it could be times where like some shit happened in life and you ain't got the patience. Why don't you have the patience? Because you was never taught patience
ever.
That's what I'm saying. So like, or if you can be somebody can instill change, and if you're not good at change, then it's just certain shit like
adaptability, patience. I mean, like, and not to cut off your example, but like, my wife and I are going through something that's the hardest experience I've ever had in my life. It's going on for far longer than we expected. There's a light at the end of the tunnel, but we don't know when we're going to get there. If we don't exert patience and faith, we ain't getting there. We're falling apart either internally or we're not going to fall apart a long time ago.
I'm not sure exactly what the situation is, but when I tell you I know exactly how you feel.
I'm sure you do.
I know exactly how you feel. Because I did see the light end of the tunnel.
Let me ask you a question. Because you said something that's been not bothering me.
Oh shit!
It's been on my mind.
I say a lot of shit that bother me.
Here come the controversy that they want. What's up?
No, it's not controversial.
Damn. Never mind. I lied.
Can someone's negative legacy impact a positive one?
That's a guy.
Excuse me for jumping at me. Damn, Jesus Christ.
I hate you.
What episode is that? Episode 4 and 5?
Yeah. The situations that me and you fall with our fathers. We see them in our
That's
eyes.
exactly why I told y'all what I told y'all when I was sitting over there. And like you said, it's just been triggering you. It's been something that shit was irritating me after too many episodes of that.
All right, maybe I missed something.
So when when we were saying that if our wife was to die or whatever the case may be, that we couldn't raise our child by ourselves,
I still
and then he cussed us out.
He definitely yelled at us.
He said he stand on it, but we had the conversation. So, But no, when y'all said it, it was just like, that's why I reacted. Like, you was like, don't talk to me like that. But it struck a chord. Like, yo, nigga, stop saying that shit. I don't want to hear that come out of your mouth.
I understand that.
You know what I'm saying?
I understand that. However,
whatever, nigga.
But no, reason why, because it struck a chord with me is because it's like, I'm thinking, like, and this may sound wild, that's what's about to come out of my mouth.
You miss your dad.
I don't want him to be like, that's my son. Nigga, you ain't do shit.
No, stop right there.
No, don't stop. Keep going.
No, because step in.
No,
I'm listening first.
Stand down.
I'm listening first.
Go ahead. All right, go ahead.
Because, all right.
This is the wildest shit, bro.
How's it wild?
I don't think that's wild. Like, I don't think that's wild.
Go on,
Because
go on.
it's like,
I got hot. My back sweating.
when you haven't been here, you didn't bestow anything up in me. You didn't. What is it? It takes a village to raise a child. You weren't a part of the village.
Can we put a pin right there? No, continue, but just put a pin right there.
You didn't contribute to this village. You see me shining, right? That's like one of the movies where the nut ass dad don't raise the kid, but you see the kid in the NBA. That's my son right there. Nigga, he ain't do shit.
You're claiming property. You're not influencing character.
Are you saying you don't want him to say that to you or to anybody else?
Anybody else?
All right. My thing, and I never experienced this, I'm just going to put my foot in these shoes because we have a podcast. That might be exactly what he need. Why? He might need, not for, let's just get away from you for a second. The fact that he's been like this for so long as a father, a black father, all the shit that black fathers adore, sometimes he never had the guide, and that might be the guide that he actually need. He might not come back around, you might not accept him, but if he can die, I'll say that.
No, I mean that's part of life. It's part of life.
If he die, or if he can die with a different mindset and a different idea or a different spark that'll leave him happy with what he's leaving behind, let him rock with that.
I think
so it might not be for you. You might can explain it more than better than what I'm saying, but it might not be for you. It might not can be what you need, but it could be something that he can need.
I think you're pointing to his piece versus his piece, and in terms,
but they still tie into each other because that's.
I mean, it's
because a part of his legacy is that his father wasn't there.
Well, that's a part of his experience. It's not his legacy. His legacy is his own behavior. But the
lineage, I guess.
Yeah, I mean it's part of your life is that he wasn't part of it apparently. But you're talking about his dad basically having.
I don't have that a good last name.
So I mean there's part of that. Part of that is gone, but for you, Steph, it's a matter of being at peace with it.
Yeah, that's facts.
You know what I'm saying? Like for you, regardless of what it means to your dad, it's being at peace with it. Mm. For him, I mean, whatever gives him peace at the end of the day, God bless him. Mm-hmm. But for you, it's really a matter of you being at peace with whatever your relationship is, or isn't, and that it doesn't impact you beyond a certain point.
Steph is the type that insert himself in that. Like, don't tell such and such that's your son. Fuck you, nigga. That's why I said that.
No, wait, hold up. So while we're touching on this, because I want to put this point out there, that was literally my mindset. So I understand exactly how you feel. Mm-hmm. I called my brother. I said, bro, I got a question. I said, I'm dealing with something. I really want to talk to you about it. I was like,
which one is it?
This G. I said, I'm stuck between two places. I said, you know me and Pop don't rock, right? I said, but I'm stuck between, do I still let him know he got a ground child on the way? Or do I just fuck it? Because I don't want him or her to endure that. That's literally what I asked my brother.
You don't have to allow that.
And you're right. But because I know the journey it took to actually get here, but it's like you wasn't there for me, right? But I don't want to, in a sense, punish you kind of want to give you a second chance, but I kind of don't. Just not with me.
I got a prime example for that.
And I have a point to go ahead.
Kevin Hart.
You got to tell me a little more.
Well,
Everything that he endured with his father, when he finally came, when his pop finally, all that shit that we heard in his comedy stand-ups and all that shit.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, he was like, this is what I want to do. Not saying this is what y'all want to do with y'all pop, but the way Spoon transformed and became the grandfather that he became based off of the father that he wasn't.
Now, let me ask you a question, though. I'm sorry. Do you think it had a lot to do with, one, Kevin Hart being who he was and able to move him out of different situations?
I don't think so. Okay. Well, I don't want to say that because we just went into a whole thing about money and all that stuff.
Somebody else's
so somebody, I don't want to say that, but from what I in life seen and endured, I think that's why I said if he want to do that, let him do that. Mm-hmm. Don't because once you insert yourself, you don't know what that triggers. And like, let's just say if Steph do that, Steph don't know what that can trigger from that point on by saying, "Fuck you, nigga, you wasn't here. Don't say that I'm your son and this is what I accomplished." No, don't do that. Like, don't ever say that to anybody. We don't know what that. I know you feel them, but we don't know.
Don't say
I know, but you don't know what that can spark in you. You don't know what other feelings that thing. How you know you that strong to say that and rock out and get back on with your life? What was the point of even doing that? If you could just say, if you could come back in that time and say, "Fuck you, nigga," and then go back in life, what the fuck is you even saying it for?
Well, and so what I was getting at was, are you at peace with, if you're at peace with where you stand in a relationship, you have, from my perspective, you have an obligation to protect your children. And we have navigated something very similar to this. And we have chosen to keep our children away from it.
Okay.
Because,
and that's different than
I got that part, and it's just like,
well, and it
don't
deals
really don't say that's your grandchild. Like, all your other grandkids is yours. Don't say that's your grandchild.
Do you think action could play a part in that? Like, if he tell him right, and he chooses to protect his child from those feelings, because he know they could still be there. Mm-hmm. The actions that his father will then change and bring forth.
You would have to insulate your kid from that until you can deem that safe for your kid.
And I ain't mad at that.
And you know what I'm saying? Like, it's and the boundary that I've set in my house is, and this is somebody on my wife's side, like, if you choose to engage this person, it won't be in this house.
I ain't mad at that.
You know what I'm saying? Like, if you choose to, you'll have to entertain this outside of the house. And when we reach a point where we're comfortable, maybe we'll explore our kids being involved. But I'm very, like, I don't play about my kids. And I'm very protective of the way of the village we have around them and the influences that we have around them. And there's a lot that we weed out. And I think if you have concerns about that and you have unresolved questions, or if it's going to open up stuff, this is where therapy comes in. This is where, you know what I'm saying, so that you can navigate that for you in a way that's safe, that you then aren't projecting your ill feelings from your dad onto your child.
Prime example, Shar biological father, right? He found out everything from every other fucking family member. Mm-hmm. She got married. She got a degree. She got a baby. She moved. All the big shit in life, he found out. She still chooses not to let him know and bring forth that. But even though he know, right? Nigga still called once in a blue moon just to say the same shit that he said when she was 15. The actions aren't changing.
Right.
If the actions change, then Shar may have a different mindset. You know what I'm saying? But the actions ain't changing. Why the fuck is the voicemail still the same and you just changing different words, my nigga? Don't call once in a blue moon because you want to be a pop and you want to leave the same voicemail with different words.
It's control.
That's like
you want to check in on your property.
And that's the other thing. She don't dig into that. That's a part of if he say that to him. If Steph say that to his pop, that's a part of the control that his pop still might have on him.
That's why I talked about peace.
Shar biological father don't have that control. He hasn't had that control in a while. And if he do decide to say, hey, let me be a fucking grandfather. I got a bonus grandbaby too. let me do this. That still ain't gonna have control over Char's mindset or the thoughts that Char has had over these years. Still not gonna work. But when you do and you change, that's probably what happened with Spoon and Kevin Hart. Like, he probably didn't have control over Kev, but if Spoon was doing what he needed to do as a grandfather and it was making a change, and probably the kids probably was like, oh, that grandpa did this, or can we see grandpa, or da-da-da-da about their grandpa, then it's like, all right, let me see. And if he continued that, that's when it's like a different ball game. Like, all right, Pop, and then Spoon actually did that shit.
So, fellas, great episode, great conversation. D, thank you for joining us on this great conversation.
Thank you guys for having me.
Appreciate you taking your time out on your Sunday morning.
Specifically, I had 2 episodes for you. This one and another one, but I was like, let me put on my legacy episode.
So
we've been holding this episode back for probably like 2 months.
It's been fun. It's been fun.
So we have this thing that we do before we leave called Thanks for Looking Out. So anyone in your life this past week who has done something for you, or whatever the case may be, whether it be hold a door or whatever, we give them a shout out. So do you have anyone that you want to say thanks for looking out this week?
Wife? No.
No, that's cool.
No.
That's definitely cool.
No. As we've navigated, I mentioned I got 2 under 4, and it's a pretty hectic house sometimes, and we're starting to get back to some of our friendships and stuff that we had before kids and responsibilities. Buddy of mine had a bachelor party, a good friend, on Friday, and she was like, "Go if you want to stay tonight, go." And that's.
Oh, she said if you want to stay the night.
She was like, "You want to go out for the night? Go ahead."
And you came home.
We had a kid party yesterday, and I knew my kid was gonna wake up at 6 a.m. So that's also part of it.
Shout out responsibility.
So
I'm still coming too.
You can stay care.
No, babe, come on.
We
I would came home later. If the kids wake up at 6, come home at 5.
I had to drive home. I had to drive home from Atlantic City, so I was like, I want to get back. But I mean, that's it. I mean, we're growing as adults. We're growing as parents. We're growing as partners. And so for me, that was cool. She was like, "No, go ahead. You got it." So thank you, babe. Love you. I'm on my way.
You got thanks for looking out, Hank?
My thanks for looking out would be what's today's date?
6.
The
6th. 7 years ago tomorrow? 8 years ago tomorrow, I had to wake up, go get half my haircut.
Go get fired. Get the other half.
Come back, get my other half a haircut. And I joined one of my best friends of 25 years as he embarked on a new journey in life, and he allowed me to be right by his side in a shiny fucking suit looking like it was Bad Boy in 97. And I appreciate him for that. That's my thanks for looking out. Steph.
Dick eats. So I appreciate Ron for letting me be at the wedding on first invite.
He's an asshole. You did have an invite, bro.
I said on first invite.
It was.
Niggas had to get cut down.
No, niggas got cut down once.
No hard feelings there.
But no,
never mind.
I don't know if I told this story, but Rome offered, and I said hell no, because I feel like it was selfish. He offered for me to propose to Money that day.
You did? I thought you was opposed to that.
I sure it was. I didn't tell him.
I said, fuck no, that's selfish as shit. That's y'all.
I said, do it at the end. Do it at the end of the reception.
And I still said, fuck no.
He's exactly.
Shit, did the reception end? We partied all fucking night.
I think so the reception ended the way the cookout ended yesterday. People just packed up and just started leaving. And then once people started packing up and leaving, cats started leaving together.
Niggas did not want to leave last night. Niggas did not want to leave. But yeah, I appreciate that. And I appreciate this again, we're not a wedding married podcast, but this is this brotherhood of men who are going through the same journey and the same path. And granted, we all got different paths and ways, but you know, we've all been married for plus years, multiple years, and the same age range and stuff like that, and we're all progressing in life and leaving our mark on this world and stuff together. Run me wrong? Then you gotta hit us with a joke when you finish.
I don't know. I got a lot of things to look at, honestly.
Talking to Mike.
I got a few, but I'm not gonna give out all of them. I'm gonna just say thank you for everybody that came out to the cookout. Thanks to my man Ant for cooking on the grill, holding the grill down yesterday at the cookout. I'm gonna end it with that. That's my thanks for.
You made that chicken?
Yeah,
That chicken was good.
it was.
It was good.
Well, he seasoned it. I just,
It had the right amount.
You had-
It
you
had
had
the right
the
amount of
jerk.
smoke and char. It was good.
You had the jerk chicken or the other chicken?
Oh, is jerk chicken there too?
Okay, you had my chicken. That's
I just had chicken. big ass drums.
big ass drumsticks.
They
My mom said, "Oh my God, where'd you get it from?" I said, "I can't tell you."
And then Monty was like, "You bet you know I don't eat dark meat." And I was like, "Well, you do."
I ate that shit. You stupid. Nasty nigga. Boy, nasty ass nigga.
Yo, that gift is from you a freaky ass nigga. Like, yo, who made that?
Yeah, that's funny.
Rome, hit us with a joke.
What is Super Mario pants made out of?
Denim. I told you I was gonna get you with this.
That's exactly what the answer was.
That was a good one. Follow the gang on LNL Podcast on all social media platforms. You can follow me at STANZA215 on all social media platforms as well. Subscribe to everything that we have. We will be back in full stride because I ain't an addict warrior no more, so I'm back.
I'm an Aztec warrior.
On my bullshit. I'm back on my shit. D, where can they find you at? And you can plug all. You can plug
call,
everything.
When you call, I don't post on social media anymore. I'm quiet.
Yeah, you be
If
in
they,
the story.
if they need a lawyer, what they a corporate lawyer, what's your number?
Sorry, I don't take private clients.
Oh well,
No, I work for a company. I can't take private clients.
gotcha.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Yeah. So, but thank you guys for having me.
So do you take do you take low corporate stuff, like small, or is all big boy shit?
Because we Lilla.
We can talk, but I can guide you. I probably can't represent you, but I can guide you.
Gotcha.
But I work for a very big company.
So if we ask a question, you won't be like, "Well, what was it? What was said to us?" I had asked a question to someone, and it was like, "Well, it was dumb. It was dumb. It was like a basic question that like someone could answer, and then it was regarding our LLC, and they was like, "Well, you would need a lawyer, or I'm not your lawyer, or something like that." It was just something stupid, but I felt like it was a basic answer, basic question.
I mean, I can answer questions about corporate law. I can't. Like you guys can't retain me.
Yeah, that's exactly what it was.
And we wouldn't have an
simple
attorney-client relationship.
You want to plug your photography stuff?
We're retired. I'm retired.
Are you serious?
Actually, so my wife and I run Dash Photography Company. I think
I quit. I'm leaving.
Our Instagram account is Dash Photography Co. DASH Photography Co.
All my wedding photos that y'all was liking. I don't know how, but I'm gonna try to get the arrows that go.
Like the one was like pow, 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 and like it was like some like screen title joint.
No, my wife is incredibly creative, and she still does some. I'm tired. Your wedding was exhausting, bro.
It was.
You had to be in it.
You didn't. I practically was.
Oh yeah, you was. He was.
I was doing backflips, and I'm like, I'm on my back getting angles and stuff. Like it's exhausting.
That boy was good at what he did.
Thank you.
That boy did the Shawn Michaels joint and everything.
No, listen. He said we was in a room and bullshitting. And D was like, "Man, you gotta get on the road. Let's go." Okay.
Nah,
Okay.
we don't play about
Straight
you asked for a block of time. Like you got us for 8 hours. At 8 hours, I'm
not-
tired.
no,
My
but-
back hurts. My feet hurt.
So, and I don't know how other people thought or how they felt, but I was like, yo, bull professional. Like, I like it. Like,
Thank you.
To the point where I was supposed to have a party the next year, and I was like, yo, I don't care how much they cost. I said, I want them. Didn't have my party. But I was like, I want them. Like, it was
thank you.
like that night, I told them, and was like, got it. Done.
Thank you. I mean,
You
look,
straight
for
me
the
out.
right scenarios, my wife still does some like maternity pictures or newborn pictures and stuff. Kind of by
Look.
if you call and we are available and it makes sense, we'll do it. But I don't promise her time.
No, I get
So it's as a partner and we're a team for like wedding photography. We're not able to do it as much just because like somebody's got to watch the kids. Like
Right,
we can't always get a sitter, stuff like that. But we can work it out.
That's
But
Steph,
thank you, fellas.
let's go ahead. Where they can find you at, Steph?
Oh, I didn't even do a thing looking out. I'll do that real quick.
Oh, you did? Then why the hell you let them do the joke then?
I don't know.
Go ahead.
Because they didn't want to see
No, I did.
You
I'm
did
sorry.
do it. I'm about to
I'm
say.
tripping. Yeah, so follow me on Instagram and Instagram, Twitter, Thread, Hemkage, HYMKAGE. Please follow our Facebook group, and if you're gonna follow it, please communicate. Don't be in a group chat talking about, well, I think this player is gifted. I think this player is gifted. I think this girl look better. Nigga, just go to the goddamn thing on page and make a comment on it. Please
Steph
and thank you.
commented. That part right there.
Chef, where they can find you
I
at?
don't even want y'all to follow me. I want y'all to follow the pod, which Anthony gave it out. And I need y'all to follow us on the Facebook group, engage in conversation, tell a friend to tell a friend, repost it. Shout out to everybody that walked up to me and said they actually listened to the pod. We got secret listeners that got opinions, and I'm just like, bring it to the page. Don't tell me nothing personally, because I'm going to forget it. Just bring it to the page.
Yeah.
Well, no, I just feel like you can. No, I'm telling you, I'm going to forget. So just send it to the page where we can all see it.
And shout out to Taylor who thought I was short.
Tell her thought you were short?
Yes.
Yeah.
So she don't watch on YouTube neither, huh?
I mean, that.
I mean, I don't either. It's all right. What?
Yep. Deuces.